This is a video about the reading of The Timekeeper, a novel about time written by Mitch Albom, an American writer born in 1958. The book tells the story of Dor, a man born 6,000 years ago. As a child, Dor had two good friends, Ali, a little girl, and Nim, a very strong boy. As the years went by, the children grew. Ali and Dor got married, and Nim became a very powerful and ambitious king. He was so ambitious that he wanted to build a great tower, so big it would reach the skies, and Nim would be able to fight the gods and win, becoming even more powerful. It would be, as told in the Bible, the Tower of Babel. Meanwhile, Dor measured. It is not easy to say what he measured because he measured time, and that hadn't even been invented or discovered yet. It was Dor who first started counting time, using a stick and analyzing the shadow the sun would cast. He developed a great number of ways to measure time, using the sun, the water, and the moon. He created the first sundial, the first clock, and the first calendar. By the time Nim's tower was finished, Ali had gotten greatly ill, due to the contact with a couple infected by a horrible plague. Dor watched her die in his arms while he tried to save her, but it was useless. As a last attempt to save his true love, Dor climbed the big tower to ask the gods to save Ali, but Nim's soldiers went after him. He was fast, but before he made it to the top, the tower burst into flames and everyone on it fell. Well, everyone except Dor, who kept on climbing and suddenly found himself inside a cave. As he later learned, he had been punished by the gods for measuring time, something that was holy and not for mere mortals to tangle with. His punishment was to stay in the cave for thousands of years, never dying or even aging, constantly listening to every plea, every request, and every prayer regarding time. Dor did not predict it, but people found his clocks and calendars and started measuring time as he did, becoming obsessed by it. Dor's time in the cave was miserable, and he wished to die many times, but Father Time, as he was called by the gods, never did. When he was finally able to leave, the gods gave him a mission: help two people with time-related problems. The first one was Sarah Lemon, a teenage girl wanting to end her life due to bullying and rejection. The second one was Victor Dalamonte, an old businessman planning to cheat death by freezing himself on a cryogenic chamber in order to live longer when the cure to his cancer was found. Dor receives a magical hourglass that can stop time and thus help him learn about a great number of things in the modern world. So something that would take a long time for regular people only takes a minute for Father Time. There is a very interesting passage on the book where the narrator ponders on how we are used to keeping track of time. He says, "Try to imagine life without timekeeping. You probably can't. You know the month, the year, the day of the week. There is a clock on your wall or the dashboard of your car. You have a schedule, a calendar, a time for dinner or a movie. Yet, all around us, timekeeping is ignored. Birds are not late. A dog does not check his watch. Deer do not fret over passing birthdays. Man alone measures time. Man alone chimes the hour. And because of this, man alone suffers a paralyzing fear that no other creature endures, a fear of time running out." The fear of time running out is also the fear of death, faced by, if not all, most humans. Because nobody knows for sure what will happen after we die, death is the unknown, and as it always does, the unknown scares us. In the book, the characters face death in different ways. Sarah decides to commit suicide because she does not want to keep on being ridiculed by her classmates and the boy she likes. It seems like her only way out, so she locks herself in her car parked in the garage and starts its engine. The car produces carbon monoxide, a deadly poison, and Sarah faints. She would have died if Dor hadn't saved her. Sarah is not alone in her attempt. Around 780,000 people kill themselves every year in the world, and depression, a chemical instability in the brain, is the main reason why they do it. Very differently from Sarah, Victor Dalamonte, Dor's second mission, wants to cheat death and live longer. He does so by buying a cryogenic chamber on which he would have laid for a very long time if it wasn't for Dor. But what is a cryogenic chamber and how does it work? The cryogenic chamber is just a theory, used in fiction but never proven to be functional in real life. However, if it was real, it would work by lowering the body temperature until all bodily functions were almost extinct, but still existing. The temperature would be lowered using liquid nitrogen that would preserve the organism until reanimation. The reanimation would happen when the cure for the person's disease had been found, granting a longer and healthier life to said person. The first man to ever freeze himself was James Bedford, a psychology teacher. His body has been frozen since 1967. Not many people have followed his steps, as the chamber is expensive and not proven to work. But TV Simon Cowell has said that he would like to be frozen after he dies. There is a rumor that Walt Disney is frozen to be awakened in the future, but that is all that is, a rumor. Disney is buried along with family members. Not everyone in the world views the concept of time in the same way. Some cultures are wary of time passing by, while others run their lives by the clock. The Piraha tribe, a small native tribe in the Amazon rainforest in Brazil, uses no numbers, letters, or art, and more importantly, they have no concept of time. It is very difficult for us, people so involved and ruled by time, to imagine a life without it, but it is possible. Another example of a timekeeping free society is the Hopi tribe, known for their interesting language. They have no verb tenses because they don't associate language with time. But the ways of dealing with time are not limited to being ruled by it or ignoring it. The Asian Buddhist culture keeps time using the moon calendar. The moon is for them an object of wonder and veneration, determining the time for prayer, for example. There is no right way to keep track of time, and no exact answer when timekeeping began. Most believe it was the Egyptians because they first determined that the day had 24 hours, but it is impossible to be sure. It might have been, as we see in the book, a little boy playing with a stick in its shadow. I would like to give a special thanks to Claudia Amorim, who created this project, and to Scola Mobile. Goodbye, and thanks for watching.